Okay, thank you so much for attending today's webinar. I'm joined here by Coinstash. My name is Robin and I'm representing Birchal here and I'm hosting today's webinar. So Coinstash is a business that I've really enjoyed working with, and it's great to be doing this webinar with you for the second time around for your second equity crowdfunding raise on the Birchal website. As some people might know on this session today, Coinstash previously raised $2.8 million, reaching their maximum target in their previous campaign, and they're now back, having really grown the platform, executed so much. And I think I'm really going to leave the rest of the story to Ting and the rest of the Coinstash team who are here today. And what I would really love to do is to just introduce the structure that we've got for today's webinar. So we're going to quickly kick off with a presentation from Coinstash, and then what we're going to do is leave the final end of the webinar for a Q&A session. So what I really invite everybody to do here today is to use the Q&A feature throughout the presentation as much as you possibly can. I will take a note of all the questions that are being asked, and I will ask them to the Coinstash team, and we'll hopefully get as many of them answered as possible. So I'd love to introduce Ting and have you introduce the rest of the team as well, and hand it over to you to, basically.
Yep. Thanks, Robin. And yes, thanks for the very warm introduction. And once again, a very warm welcome to everyone to take the time to come to our investor webinar. So obviously, my name is Ting. I'm here with my co-founder, Mina, as well as most of the team from Coinstash. Some of you, I can see some familiar faces, like familiar names who are already investors in Coinstash. You're probably already quite familiar with Mina and myself. But for those of you who aren't, we'll just quickly introduce ourselves, as well as how we started our own crypto journeys. So about myself, I came from a law and finance background. I finished university in 2012 and worked in a number of reputable organizations, including a top-tier accounting firm and also a US-listed fintech company. So I first came across cryptocurrencies back in 2015 when I first read Satoshi's famous Bitcoin white paper, and I was immediately intrigued by it. From there, I actually didn't speculate on the price of Bitcoin. I wish I did, but I used Bitcoin to a number of use cases. For example, I remember using Bitcoin to purchase some in-game items, as well as making some cross-border payments. Which I found to be extremely useful. Given my experience with cryptocurrencies, I became one of those earlier adopters who believe that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies do add significant value to our society. So in terms of how I met Mina, we've been good friends since I was in high school when I was 13 years old. And then we crossed paths again in 2017 when we started the company. So I'll pass the floor to my co-founder, Mina, to introduce himself.
Thank you, Ting. Yes, friends for a very long time, which is a really good thing. So, and I'll give you a bit of experience on my side of things as well. My experience in the crypto space started back in 2013. I've always had an affiliation to IT and tech in general, just seeing how things are evolving. I guess blockchain technology was interesting back then in the space of cryptocurrency mining. So late 2013 is when I started to investigate into cryptocurrency mining, different ways to run blockchain networks themselves, and understand what the power of decentralization actually meant for the future of all different types of spaces, but predominantly the finance space. And as you can see now, if you're aware of from there, I guess what's finally evolved is the decentralized finance space, just utilizing blockchain technology. That was in 2013 late. From then onwards, I think in 2015 or 14, I was actually part of a development team. And the purpose of that was to create a universal currency of sorts, which could help with cross-border payments, similar to what Ting was talking about, but a very much cheaper alternative for payments between mostly African countries. So we wanted to solve the issue of big organizations, money remittance companies, such as, I can't think of the name of it right now. Is it Western Union, I believe?
Yeah.
Yes, they were charging between two different countries in Africa up to 50% of the wage of the user. So the coin that we were creating was trying to enable those transfers between different countries and heavily reducing the fees so these people weren't basically slaving away. That never actually happened because there was the CEO, we were the foundation, the CEO ended up committing some fraud against us as well, which was quite sad, very upsetting for me. I was working as a volunteer. But yes, it was a good experience into the space, learning how to develop mobile applications as such, and just more about the cryptocurrency space. And that's literally what I live and breathe now. I just know so much about the space and everything. Any question that anyone wants to ask as well, I'm happy to answer. So my experience in IT and cryptocurrency and moving forward from there has been a lot of highs and lows, and it is just where I focus my energy. For Coinstash, I focus on the product, building the product into what it needs to be. Looking forward, yeah, there's a lot of things that we're working towards, and making sure that, that being someone who is a veteran in the space, that I can basically guide the direction of what a customer is kind of looking for, I guess.
Thanks, Mina. And yeah, I think I'll just quickly introduce the rest of the team. So I think, as Robin mentioned, that at Coinstash, we achieved a number of milestones, especially over the past 12 months. And we couldn't have achieved any of this without having a first-class team. So first of all, I would like to introduce Simon, who's on this call. So Simon joined Coinstash in July last year as our Chief Operating Officer, also as our Chief Financial Officer. So Simon has significant experience in accounting, finance, tax, and also law. Not only is Simon on top of all of our numbers and compliance, he's also very significantly contributed to many strategic business decisions within Coinstash. Next, we have Bridget. Bridget is our Chief Marketing Officer, CMO at Coinstash. Bridget has spent her entire career in digital marketing as well as content creation. So these are the key areas of expertise that Coinstash currently require. Most recently, Bridget was the head of digital media at Anton Group, which is the holding company of the well-known brand Ladbrokes. We also have Loy. So Loy joined us towards the second half of last year. Loy, as you can see, is our head of customer success and community manager. So for those of you who are using Coinstash as a customer, you probably have interacted with Loy, our customer support, and you'll know how passionate he is about delivering first-class customer experience to our users. Loy is also a high achiever, and he's a former investment banking intern. So Loy is so passionate about cryptocurrency that he chose Coinstash over a steady career path in banking. So kudos to you, Loy. Next, we have Garth. So Garth is our manager of creative design. Garth, I see Garth as a unicorn in this space because not only he does our product design in the form of UX, UI, he also does our marketing collaterals, which is very rare. So basically, all the beautiful content you see on our website, our mobile application, as well as any social media posts that you see, they're all a result of Garth's hard work. So we're very fortunate to have Garth with us on the team. Last but not least, we have Dimitri, who's our senior full stack developer. Dimitri, I would say Dimitri is a machine at what he does. And one of the highlights among many of his highlights are he basically single-handedly built our entire mobile application within a matter of months. So yeah, thanks to Dimitri. In addition to our core team, we also have a team of contractors and also advisors assisting us on a number of fronts, including marketing, product, and compliance. So that's as far as it goes for the team. I think now I'll talk a bit about, I guess, the history of Coinstash and also about our vision. Sorry, look, can we go to the next slide? Yep. So for those of you who aren't aware, Mina and myself, we actually started the company behind Coinstash back in 2017, right before the previous crypto bull market. So we've seen some early success during the bull run, navigated our way through the crypto winter in 2018, 2019, and then rode the wave for another crypto super cycle, as we all know, from 2020 to 2021. So we've been through a couple of cycles already. Coinstash, the platform, was actually launched towards the second half of 2019. For some of our early users, you may remember initially when we had Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Ripple. on a simple platform built by Minar and also Arthur, who's our only engineers at the time. If you fast forward 3 years, we're now a established crypto platform with more than 340 coins on offer. We also have, we're also one of the first platforms in Australia to launch Coinstash Earn, which is a reward system where customers can be rewarded by simply holding their crypto. We became the controller of our AFSL licensee company back in September 2021, as well as onboarding a responsible manager. And also we just crossed the milestone of having more than 20,000 registered users on the platform, which marks a year-on-year user growth rate of more than 500% if you compare 2021 to 2020. So some of you may ask, so what makes Coinstash different? Why should I go with Coinstash? So we have a slogan here at Coinstash, which is more than just an exchange. I think this describes us very well. So at Coinstash, we started as an exchange, but our vision has always been provide much more than that to our customers. So if you look at our vision there's a lot of big words, but to financially empower our clients by bridging the gap between traditional finance and the world of crypto. So what do we mean by that? So what we actually mean is we believe there's more to cryptocurrency than just speculation. So we have already seen many use cases when it comes to cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology, such as decentralized finance. I think me and Mina both touched on remittance. We have asset tokenization and many more use cases. So what we really want to do is we want to provide accessibility, which is by providing our customers with the necessary tools to be able to unlock the benefits that cryptocurrencies provide. So more specifically, we want to unlock these benefits in the financial services sector. This is why also this year we have launched our flagship product, which is Coinstash Earn. So I'll probably take a bit of a pause here and I'll hand it over to my co-founder, Mina, to talk about a bit about our current products as well as our future product roadmap. Over to you, Mina.
Thank you, Ting. Yes, so where we are now. So since our last raise, we actually ended up rebuilding our whole platform from scratch. And the reason we did that is because we wanted to focus on building a product that had the proper foundations to scale up from there. We wanted to consider ourselves, our end goal of becoming a cryptocurrency, crypto bank as such. The whole envisioning of bridging the gap between traditional and modern financial products. It also means that we wanted to ensure that our product was correctly built, scalable in the right direction. So again, a lot of the first, I guess, 6 months or so was us working on building an exchange product, the Coinstash exchange product again, with the ability to buy and sell. And I guess from there, features which we had in the original, but we brought across and improved on, was the ability to auto buy or auto purchase, the portfolio feature displaying how the portfolio works. On top of that, we actually built, we believed that, or we understood from understanding our audience, that a mobile first approach was where we need to start shifting our focus for the customers. So we ended up building a mobile application for iOS and Android and executing on all the features of that in the mobile app as well as the web application. That product as well is where we focus all of our attention now for moving forward as a team, because we've actually understood the mobile first approach is the only way that we're going to ensure that we're keeping up with what the customer's expectations are. So moving across from the exchange product, we launched our Coinstash Earn. If you were here for the last webinar, as this one, we had Coinstash Earn, Borrow, and Spend as the 3 products which we were looking to launch. And Earn was the first of that, scheduled to be launched, and at this, well, I guess when we actually launched it, which was approximately 2 or so months ago, the beginning of this year. And then there is Borrow and Spend, which Borrow is planned to be done this year, finished off in this year. And Spend is planned to be pushed out at the beginning of next year. You can go back one slide. Sorry, Louis, I just wanted to just focus a bit more on Earn. I was just trying to summarize the 3 products that we are, or plus the 3 products that we're focusing on since the last raise. So Coinstash Earn, as you can see that's the mobile app version of what it looks like currently. And it is basically a loyalty reward system which enables the usability of cryptocurrency, which is where we predominantly wanted to focus, and we believe that the market was moving and is moving towards with cryptocurrency. So that's, as you look at the path along the way, I think that there is a lot of movement in the DeFi space, decentralized finance, where it shows usability of cryptocurrency, and a lot of early adopters in that space who understand how to use that space, where they start to do things with cryptocurrency that you don't just buy and sell it like a stock as such. You can use it as collateral. You can stake it in different ways. There's lots of different things you can do, but we basically simplified that, created one of the first products that, I believe it was the first Australian product, closely followed by some of our competitors on that as well, copying us with wording as well. But Coinstash Earn is basically a usability product. So you have the ability to basically not have your assets sit there and just do nothing. Your assets now earn rewards, and it means that you maintain some sort of leverage position moving forward, where you have some sort of profitability rather than just having your assets sit there. Like it's actually enabling you to compound rewards and to build your portfolio without actually doing anything. That's a key point, because if you want to day trade or do some sort of exchange products and all that, then Coinstash is not the product for day traders. It's for people who are serious investors who believe in the future of cryptocurrency and see the potential of it, which we would like to teach you as well on that, and teach our customers on that. And then of course, one of those things is just, earning on it. So Coinstash Earn is usability of cryptocurrency, the first of the products. Go to the next slide, please. Yeah, so in talking on usability, Coinstash Borrow and Coinstash Spend follow those two same approaches. And also one thing I wanted to mention as well, if you look at this particular product range where we're offering, you'll probably see straight away that it is products that traditionally are offered by traditional businesses, or as such, you could call them banks as well. We're not necessarily moving our mind away from offering a product. We're not offering a banking product, but we're offering a product that is similar to what the customers expect in that space. And then of course, it's the modern side of it. So then we can start to look back and see if we can start to pull in the traditional side of it as well. So that's talking on the future product roadmap. I guess that's from my perspective how we're moving forward in that direction, as well as a lot of other things which I don't particularly want to discuss just yet, because they're of participants and other things as well. I don't want to talk about what we're doing too far of what we've said, but on the product side of it, that's how we're going to move forward. I guess this particular raise that we're doing as well is a lot more focused on not just the product and building this product, but also capturing the market to see this product as such.
Great. Thanks, Mina. So I guess a lot of you, obvious question out there is a lot of you asking, okay, why Coinstash? Why should I invest in Coinstash? And why should I invest in Coinstash at this very moment? So there's a few paths to that answer. And then I guess firstly is we had some great numbers over the past 12 months. So on that point, I'll hand over to Simon, who's our COO as well as CFO, to speak to these numbers a bit more.
Yeah, we've had since the crowdfunding round closed out last year in April, we've had some really strong growth, and part of it, coming from our community, but also from new customers who come aboard because of the Coinstash brand. So in terms of the numbers that have want to highlight are new signups. So in 2020, we had 1,354 signups, but that's grown by 531% in 2021 calendar year. Total users have gone, and this is again calendar year, from 1,522 to 10,067 as at December 2021. And as Ting mentioned, we're on about just over 20,000 right now, and we're halfway through the year. And but in terms of year-on-year growth between 2020 and 2021, that's 561%. Volume traded. This is bear in mind that this is just our exchange product. So these calendar year numbers don't include potential revenue diversification from our other products such as earn, borrow, and spend that are in the works. But our volume has grown by about fourfold, by 322%, from 6.7 million in 2020 to 28.3 in 2021. And our revenue, you can see on the far right, that has gone from 134 to 345,000 in 2021. I'd like to point out that between January and May, so as of today, we're on track to do our whole year's 2021 volume in the first 6 months of this year. So we are growing, and where we see the real opportunity in the future is actually diversifying revenue stream, like I mentioned before. So these are just exchange numbers, and as you know, when market goes up or down or bearish or bullish, we are impacted by that volatility, and sometimes it's hard to estimate what that impact is. But for the month this month in May 2022, it's been our best performing month in terms of trade volume since the inception of the company. So in a bearish market, we do benefit from it, but if we do see a prolonged bear market, then the volume may taper off. So that's where our the revenue comes in. We earn on the difference between it's in terms of revenue, what we pay, our cost of providing a loyalty point program versus the internal yield that we generate on our treasury assets, and that difference is recurring. So it's less volatile compared to market conditions, and that's where we see our revenue growth to be in the future.
Awesome, thanks, Simon. The next thing I want to move on to is, I guess, there's an elephant in the room right now, and I get asked this question a fair bit as well. So right now we're seeing, due to a number of reasons, I think it's not just specific to cryptocurrency itself. There's obviously the ongoing war in Russia. There's the interest rate increases with the Fed in the US. So a lot of this, what has happened, has caused some global uncertainty, which caused a certain market to come down. So I guess in summary, the elephant in the room is, okay, right now we're in a kind of bearish market. So what does this current market condition mean for Coinstash? So I think Simon has already covered a bit on this, but I'll just reiterate. So first of all, right now, most of the revenue comes from fees on trading volume. However, just to give you guys a bit of update, in the month of May, so when the market had a huge amount of volatility with a number of things happening at the same time, we at Coinstash have actually seen the best month so far in terms of volume. And I'm just not talking about this year. I'm talking about the best month so far, full stop. Secondly, as Simon has rightfully pointed out, even if the bearish market persists, with the launch of Coinstash Earn product, we're kind of diversifying our revenue stream from just transactional revenue, which is based on trade volume, to what I call non-transactional and recurring revenue based on assets on the platform. So that's a key differentiation there. So what it means is we're less reliant, I guess, on market conditions moving forward. So why Coinstash? So I assume because we're here at this webinar, many of us have a keen interest in cryptocurrency. Some of you may also have a passion to invest in the next promising coin or token. I would just like to stress that investing in Coinstash is quite different to investing in a coin or token. So because you actually own the shares in the business itself. So the one way to look at us is to look at us as what I call a picks and shovels business that generates revenue regardless of market conditions. So I guess this type of opportunity to invest in a cryptocurrency exchange, from what I observed, is relatively far in between, and that's especially the case when it comes to retail investors. I guess another thing to have bear in mind is when investing in a business, obviously there's a few factors that people tend to evaluate. One is, does the business have a reputable team? Do they have a track record that delivering what they promised to deliver? Another thing is, does the business have a business model? Does it have a revenue? Does it have users? So I believe at Coinstash, we tick all those boxes. And most importantly, we're growing at a rapid rate, as Simon pointed out. Just some numbers, some additional numbers to you. So when it comes to Bitcoin, as we all know, over the past 12 months, I think the past 13 months, we saw Bitcoin. It was at about $68,000 in April 2021. That's when we closed our previous crowdfunding campaign. Now Bitcoin's at about 42,000. So Bitcoin has come down by nearly 40%. But you can see the Coinstash shares, it used to be at 15 cents when we did our last raise. But the last traded price, which is some trading activities happening between two existing Coinstash shareholders, is actually at 20 cents. So that's an indication as to where the markets are at. If we go to the next slide, so who do we aspire to be? I guess when you guys invest in a company like Coinstash, we're at relatively early stage, but I think you guys are all thinking about who we aspire to be. So at a global level, there are a few big players that we may have heard of. So if you look at BlockFi, if you look at Celsius, those two are cryptocurrency, I guess, exchange platforms, but they also do, I guess, crypto, what they call centralized finance products. For example, they have their own earn, borrow, and to a certain extent, they may have their spend coming out. So these platforms out there, for example, if we look at BlockFi by itself, they raised $2.25 million in 2018. Most recent valuation, $7 billion. And Celsius, more or less, some similar numbers in there. So what we want to do is at Coinstash, we have some very ambitious targets to hit. And then, which is also why we are raising this current round. So what I can assure you guys is that our team at Coinstash is very dedicated towards adding value to the business and therefore adding value to our investors. Our team is very capable, but they can only do so much with the current resources available to them, and that's why we're raising. So if you look at all these dot points in the next 18 months, what we plan to do. So in my opinion, we're at a very pivotal point in our growth. So we have done the hard work by developing our products to its current state, but right now the focus of the business is to really aggressively capture some additional market share. So in terms of numbers, we want to aim to get to 100,000 users. We're aiming for $1 billion assets on the platform, and from there, what I believe is that will be an inflection point for the business. From there, a flywheel is going to be created, and additional growth should be fueled by the future revenue generated by the business. When it comes to products, obviously we have a very solid product right now. It's highly scalable with very little technical debt. Having said that, our competitors are also continuing to innovate on their product, so we cannot take a break on that front. In terms of our regulatory roadmap, where, as we all know, compliance is very important in this area. So we're in the process of reinvesting a lot of our money into our regulatory roadmap, including obviously obtaining a retail AFSL as well as getting ready for a Australian credit license. Having progress on this front also means that we can set up certain barriers to entry for our new competitors coming into the industry. Yeah, I think that's basically it in terms of the presentation. So yeah, happy to answer any questions you guys may have.
Thanks very much, Ting, and yeah, awesome presentation, and so great and so excited to see where you've come as a business, really from that first raise. And yeah, I think the volatility is on everybody's minds in the cryptocurrency market at the moment. But yeah, for anybody who's attending right now, we've got a couple of questions here. I know that there's been a few on social media that we're going to ask as well, but I really invite you to use that Q&A feature as much as possible as we go through the business, and really just use this time to better understand it. So you've got a question here asking, what is the business model for the Earn product, do you take a percentage of earnings from investing in DeFi, from user assets, or are you, basically, are you actually,
Rehypothecating.
rehypothecating
Yeah.
user assets and taking a percentage? Apologies, I'm a bit under the weather today, and that really threw me off. So yeah, thanks very much.
Thanks, Robin. I think I've been doing a lot of the talking, so maybe Simon, do you want to have a go at answering this question?
Oh, sure. Earn is first and foremost at the moment a loyalty program. So we do incur costs in providing loyalty points to our customers, in which they can redeem for either more crypto or merchandise, and there's other rewards that are being planned for in the future. So on one hand, yes, Earn is at the moment a cost for us, but on the other hand, we have treasury assets that we are deploying into lending activities. So we lend assets to institutions, and that's separate from the loyalty program itself. And we lend to institutions who generate yield through market making activities. And we don't take any directional risk. So what that means is, if we don't take Bitcoin or Ethereum and convert it to a stablecoin, whatever, we always maintain it, what our treasury is, and basically the yield is captured through the inefficiencies in the market. Like, for example, there might be a future options contract that's priced at a premium, and then you short it, and then once it reaches the close of the option, then you get the difference, and that's what our lending panel institutions do. We have an investment committee who vets all our lenders, if I can put it that way, and we do take a very conservative approach to our treasury assets. We don't go chasing 15-20% yields. We do expect that the product that's being used is for more the I guess sophisticated investors, or people who really believe in crypto space, and maybe they want to park a high percentage of their crypto funds with us, and then maybe they go to DeFi or like another CeFi platform where they do the yield farming and get the high percentage yields. So we our yield generation, I think that's probably where some of the part of the question is through lending activities, and we do take a very conservative approach. And but the Earn product itself is a loyalty program, and that's separate to what we do, and that's a cost, and it's just similar to like your Qantas points or your Velocity points.
Just on that as well, just reiterating a few things that Simon said there. It's in terms of the investment committee, like obviously we are all, I'm on that committee as well. He said the conservative approach is what we take, which is a very big consideration to have. Being in the space for so long, I've seen it all, and we've all seen it all in different ways. So it's a very conservative approach on how we're approaching this, and it's a lot of due diligence on that. The DeFi is not something that we're working through for a very good reason. And we have been advised in different ways to look into that, but we just do not, because it's not exactly, it's not how we want to run this business. What I'm trying to say is conservative approach is 100% where we will always look to do. So, but at the same time, being very smart about how we do it. So, it's taking a lot of time to build that Earn product in the back end. I guess the loyalty system itself is what it is, but how we manage our treasury assets has a lot of background noise, which takes a lot of time, and that's good. We want to take the time to make sure that we're protecting our customers.
Yeah, great, fantastic. No, great answers from both. And Robert here has asked a question: why is crypto better than normal channels for international transactions?
I can answer that one too. There's a number of reasons. An international transaction or transfer, I guess, can take days. It also is subject to the rulings of that particular bank making the decision whether or not it will. Your funds I mean, there's a catch-22 on it. When you follow the traditional banking systems, there is a chance at some point that those funds can be refunded. It's in the crypto space, it's immutable, so it's going to happen if it goes through. But the benefits are that you're decentralizing it, so you're enabling people to take control of, you basically giving the control back to the people to transfer that money, and it's much cheaper to do that, especially for I mean, even Bitcoin's not looking too bad at the moment for its pricing. They've really worked on fixing that issue with the original network, which was the Bitcoin network. Yeah, it's far cheaper, it's far quicker, and that is where we're moving towards. Everything will be backed by blockchain technology in the future. So international transactions is just the mere, I don't know how to describe it. It's the base ingredient of the cake. It's the flour. The rest is where you see when things start to get not just international transactions or transfers. It's going to be assets that you would traditionally have in your house is on the blockchain, and that can be transferred to somebody else instantly through a smart contract. And I mean, that's what we're looking at as well. We're looking at ways to innovate those types of products and working in regulatory spaces for that. So
yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it's come up so much, and people who transfer money overseas for many different use cases, like they might move overseas and want to send money back home. There are so many people, and there's so many stories about people who have started to adopt, you know, the method of just using cryptocurrencies to do that. And really the general thought process behind that is, I don't know why I didn't do this sooner. It's so much easier, it's so much simpler. There's no exchange rate. And there is no delay in the same sense of it basically being worked out in the old financial system.
I think it's on average, I think it's around 6%, which is the average transfer fee cost using traditional systems through centralized spaces, which means that, I mean, it's catch-22. So it's not in your control in the blockchain technology. Once it's gone, it's gone. However, that's the same thing. Like, it's not in your control in the banking system. Once it's gone, they may or may not decide to give it back to you. So but it is more of a chance. But at the same time, the world is moving towards decentralized spaces. So it's quite interesting.
Yeah, definitely. And your next question is, why did you choose crowdfunding instead of going to a large institution like a private equity firm or investment bank?
Yeah, so I think that's a great question. And I think part of the reason is also similar to why any other businesses, they choose the crowdfunding path, is because at Coinstash, we're predominantly B2C, which is business to consumer. So I guess the benefit of going down the crowdfunding path is because we want to get our names out there. We want to get investors on board who are not just investors, who may later become strong customers and also advocates and affiliates for Coinstash. So, and also bear in mind, this is not the first time we've done this. So obviously we've done this already in April last year with Birchal, and we had some great success from it. So from that raise, we had just over 1,400 investors, who then, some of which became our best customers and also advocates. And then that really created, I guess, a ripple effect for our brand, and also in terms of the growth of our platform. So yeah, so basically that's the key reason why we're going for the crowdfunding path. Another thing is, obviously, if you look at cryptocurrencies is supposed to be, I guess, decentralized, peer-to-peer. You trust the technology rather than the intermediary. So we do believe that we often call ourselves a community-owned exchange because we have so many shareholders on the cap table. And I think by going down the crowdfunding path, it also goes hand in hand with the thesis of cryptocurrency as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely. And Andrew, thank you very much for your questions below here. First question from Andrew is, I expect financials will be provided in some sort of format in the offer document. That is absolutely correct. The requirement is that last year financial accounts will be provided in the offer document. I'm sure, and we can kind of talk to that in a bit more detail, but also would highly recommend that you're on the expression of interest list if you aren't already, so then you receive early access to the investment offer when it opens. But yes, basically asking the team, can you give us some indication of the latest profitability and or revenue, i.e. the 2022 estimated year-end financial results of what you'll likely be achieving this financial year?
Thanks, Andrew, for that question. I think I can probably take it. So like I mentioned before, we're on track to do our full year's trade volume, like 2021 trade volume in the first 6 months of this year. So that's quite pleasing to see, despite the recent downturn in the sentiment in the market. Now, in terms of the financials for like year-to-date financials for, the 30 June 2022 full year financials, because we are expecting to raise more than 3 mil through crowdfunding, we do expect to actually lodge audited financial statements with ASIC before the end of October this year. So that, because of that, it's a bit difficult to provide some numbers right now because they do need to be audited. But the key thing is, we do know that we have this audit requirement if you raise more than 3 mil through crowdfunding, and transparency is important to us, and that hasn't deterred us from doing a crowdfunding round. So you guys will see, potential investors will all see our audited financials coming up soon.
Yeah, awesome, fantastic. And second part, regards to the earn product, this question may have already been asked, but is it complicated? Is it a complicated area as to your margin on the product? We see how much you're prepared to pay out on earn. Can you give us a little idea as to where the assets lie and what you are earning on them? I know you covered that a little bit earlier, but I understand you are conservative and also see rates on other on the offer elsewhere without necessarily knowing where the assets might lie. So yeah, any factors of that question that haven't been answered already?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a difficult one to answer, I think, in terms of giving an idea of how the system works. Again, the earn product is a loyalty system, and how we manage the treasure, I mean, that's probably better answered by Simon on that front. But yeah.
I can probably talk about the process as opposed to where we actually put the funds, because that is a bit of our secret sauce there. The process involves, if we see an opportunity out there, or a potential institutional lender out there who we think passes our due diligence, then firstly and foremost, it goes through a due diligence process through an investment committee. And we look at things like where do they earn their yield, and how many users did they have, for example, or how are they reputable? Do they have outside investment? So there is quite a lengthy due diligence process. And at the moment, about 4 or 5 of our institutions have passed that. One in Australia, and there's a few in the US and UK as well. But these are institutional borrowers who need, I guess, crypto for their market making activities. And yeah, of course, I can't name any names. However, yeah, that's where we earn our treasury yield, at least.
Yeah.
Not to mention, I think the earn product that we offer is the only product in Australia that truly offers a return on the stablecoin for AUD, which is a real good sell point for what we do. So that's that's a huge sell point for us, which we will focus from a marketing perspective to push forward with as well. Yeah. Through earning on AUD stablecoins.
Yeah, awesome. Got a great question here from Tim as well, who says it appears users are investing a little bit less as the user base grows in terms of their trade volume. And so, is this attributed to some early users having larger investments, so the average has dropped, or are you finding that new users are actually investing smaller amounts?
Yeah, so I can probably get started and answer that question. And Simon, feel free to jump in if there's anything that you want to add. So basically, yeah, I think Tim, you're right. I think you also added on later that trade volume isn't growing at the same pace as user growth. So I guess it comes down to a few things, right? So at Coinstash, in 2021, we had a strong focus on user acquisition. And obviously, the reason behind that is obviously as there are more users onto the platform, there's going to be more trading activities. And then at least even if they come to the platform and they don't trade, at least we have their email address that we can retarget later on. So that has been a big focus of the business in 2021. Also, I think back in 2021, we had a lot of, I guess, smaller, more retail investors joining the platform. They probably traded, as you correctly pointed out, they probably traded smaller amounts, but what they have really done is to build the brand and the trust for the platform. So you may have seen, if you Google Coinstash, you may have seen like we have, I think 300 something reviews on Google, 400 something, more than 400 reviews on Trustpilot, if I remember those numbers correctly. So all of that contributes to, I guess, the brand awareness and the position of Coinstash. So that's the user acquisition part of it. Now we're at a stage where we have really refined the product, right? So the next 3 months is actually a priority of the business to refine the product. So we increase each step of the conversion funnel. So that's from sign up to having a verified account, and from having a verified account to having deposited and traded. So Mina and the rest of the product team is working like tirelessly day and night on this. So to that end, we implemented certain things like Intercom, which is a very powerful CRM tool, and then we also have done a few other things with verification and whatnot. So I guess long story short, in the next 3 months, the focus of the business would be activation and also retention. On top of that, we also have a Coinstash private program, which will allow us to be more attractive to high net worth individuals who will come to the platform and trade, I guess, larger amounts. I think the qualifying amount for Coinstash private right now is 20,000 in one trade. So over time, we should see, I guess, the trade volume to pick up in line with user acquisition as well. So yes, Simon, I'm not sure if you have anything to add to that.
Nope, that I don't.
Yeah, awesome. Yes, super interesting answer, and I feel like we can probably dive into that in a little bit more detail as we go on. But also, you've had a follow-on question here from Robert. How do you lock in the price for international transactions on crypto, just from the perspective of when you're actually transferring the funds?
See, I don't think international transfers are handled. You can consider the international transfers the way that it's actually traditionally done as the same as how crypto transfer works. It really depends on, so crypto transactions are instant. So they happen instantaneously on an exchange of sorts. Or so when you're saying you want to lock in the price, if you're talking about some sort of forwarding product, those don't exist in the crypto space just yet. But I think the forwarding products will be there in the future. Is that what you're referring to? I guess you don't necessarily, you lock in the price when you go for it, or you can set a price that you're willing to pay for it, and then when it executes, when it fills, it's executed. So yeah, there's a little bit of disconnect between traditional and modern ways that's being done at the moment, but I'm sure that if you start to consider forwarding products in the crypto space in the future, that will be there as well.
Awesome. Shane here has asked a great question. How do we invest? So Ting, do you want to talk to the timeline of the expression of interest campaign closing and the investment offer opening next week?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, Shane, looks like you're sold already. So yeah, that's good to see. So right now we're towards the tail end of our expression of interest campaign. So in case you're not familiar with, I guess, the stages of our campaigns on Birchal. So the first phase of it is an expression of interest campaign. So what you do is you just put your name, email, and I guess the indicative amount you want to invest. So that's going to finish on Wednesday. So which means on Thursday next week we'll be open for what we call a private round. So what that means is it allows people who's expressed interest in the phase 1 of the campaign to be able to have early access to I guess, to be able to invest in Coinstash. So at that time, what's also going to be made available to you is what we call an offer document. So what that does is it's basically almost like a information memorandum or prospectus document where you can look at financials or investment terms and a number of other things with Coinstash. So yeah, watch out. I think the next steps for you is if you haven't already, make sure you register for an expression of interest. If you have done that, then watch out for emails coming from either Birchal or Coinstash to let you know when the investment round actually opens.
That's it. Perfect. I have nothing to add. Awesome. Andrew here has asked a question just further to the previous question on earn and rate. Rate earned versus rate paid. Are you able to indicate the margin or margins on the product? And that is the interest margin and or net interest margin.
Yeah, I can probably answer that. Thanks, Andrew, again. It's one thing to keep in mind is that we're investing our I wouldn't say investing, but we're deploying our treasury just like any prudent company would do. They have to have excess capital. They'll deploy that treasury to earn yield, whether that's with a bank to earn in term deposit or in other ways. Like there's a few ways to do it. Now, in terms of the net interest margin, it is positive at the moment. I can't give like an exact figure for you, but I think that it is a healthy in a healthy positive position, and I think that may be because of the fact that we are also deploying our treasury, not just I guess not just whatever funds are on the platform. So it is positive, and I'm not sure if that will come out through the audited financial reports, but yeah, that's my answer to that one.
Yeah, fantastic. And I think yeah, just one question and one piece that you kind of talked about earlier around focusing on customer retention and hopefully that increasing the sort of trading volume of these customers. Many you mentioned around a piece of educating and really helping people to understand this market and what they're using. I'd love it if you could perhaps go into a little bit more detail about some of your plans for that, how that ties in with this raise, how you might be using some of the funds to implement some of that. I'm sure you're probably going to be able to work on some of that internally without the funds raised, but yeah, perhaps we could tie in the use of funds to that question as well.
Interesting that you picked that one up, Robin. And it is true, but I don't really know how much I want to elaborate on that, but I can say that having a good hub of knowledge around cryptocurrency, I guess I can talk about a recent study that I read for a company called Sift. There's this system called pig butchering, which is all focused around, I'll get to the point at the end, but let me just touch on the idea that people in the crypto space, or I guess the scams that are related to the crypto space, and romance scams, ghosting systems, all these different types of, puppy scams, all these different types of scams that are linked to the cryptocurrency. But in general, the cryptocurrency space is just making those people easier to get their scam through the door. The point of why I'm saying that is because the underlying reason why people were falling for these scams was because they wanted to learn about cryptocurrency and start investing in cryptocurrency, but they didn't know where to start. So that was the key takeaway that I got from, other than wanting to understand how Sift was working to solve that issue. But the key undertaking was that people want to know more about cryptocurrency. They want to learn so they can invest. A lot of people don't know what to do, where to start. So having an experience where they can, having those people tell them what to do, even if it is the wrong space to do it, was what caused people to get involved. That's what I want to offer people, a space where a safe space they can get information about cryptocurrency, learn from the experts in the space, the veterans in this room with me now, as well as myself, knowing enough about cryptocurrency. I have, in a non-financial advice way, helped a lot of people around me, my close proximity, to understand the crypto space and to invest appropriately. A lot of people ask me questions all the time on that. And that's where I can see there's a lot of people wanting to know how to invest. If you're an amateur investor in the crypto space, you will get burnt. So you need to have that hub of information where you can start to build, so you can feel comfortable yourself. And I mean, that's from an investor's perspective for Coinstash, people who are investing in Coinstash, you can understand that we curate the customers to help them on their journey, which gives them the security to invest more in that. And it's extremely important. I mean, that's how you build trust.
Absolutely, absolutely. Anything else to add on the retention piece as well?
Yeah, so I think, Robin, sorry, correct me if I'm wrong. I think the question was in relation to like, what are the plans that we have, like A, to retain our current users, and then B, to, I guess, when it comes to our use of funds, why are we raising this amount of money for, I guess, marketing activities, and what do we plan to do with them? So if I can answer the first question, so in terms of retention, right? So there's a lot of, I guess, retention strategies that we can run and we are running on Coinstash. So part of the retention, funnily enough, is actually built in with our product, which is Coinstash Earn. So what we have identified is when people are earning on their cryptocurrency assets, obviously the most obvious result is they come back, they check how much they've earned, and every week when their earning have crystallized, they get an email from Coinstash saying, congratulations, here's your reward for the week. So I think from a product perspective, there are natural retention strategies built in within the product. Outside of that, obviously, a few other things that we can do when it comes to, I guess, retention is obviously through our CRM systems, like emailing people if they haven't traded for a certain amount of time. We want them to be back on the platform. And falling short of that, I think Minal has also covered that by having very useful educational content out there in itself is a good, not just a customer acquisition strategy, but it's also a retention strategy. So those are probably just some of the examples I can think of right now that we at Coinstash are currently either doing or looking to do. When it comes to, I guess, the use of funds and how do we plan to use that as part of, I guess, growing ourselves from say 20,000 users to 100,000 users. So at Coinstash, we're very pragmatic about our marketing approach. So we don't just go out there and say, hey, here's $1 million, Facebook, do it for us. That's not the approach that we take. What we really want to do is we really want to be, I guess, to target the low-hanging fruits first, right? So without giving away too much of our, I guess, marketing plan, but we look at certain marketing channels where we can generate the most amount of results with the minimum amount of investment. From there, by unlocking those early benefits, then we can reinvest, I guess, the rewards from those benefits into the next channel that we identify. Where the bottleneck with that is a lot of these earlier, I guess, low-hanging fruit marketing channels require my time, Minal's time, Bridget's time, everyone's time. So it's very time-consuming, and to a certain extent, it may not be as scalable as some of the, I guess, paid marketing channels. So I guess what this, what this raise, the amount that we raise from this round, so what that's going to really help is to really help us to scale these marketing channels, as well as, I guess, looking at maybe adding additional resources to the team to be able to really do certain things like Minal mentioned, having a educational hub. So yeah, those are just some examples.
And there's also Coinstash Private, which is a heavy retention tool when it comes to the bigger customers as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a great question here to end the session on, which is, do you have long-term plans to publicly list the company?
Yeah, I can answer that one because yeah, obviously I get asked that question a lot. So I think, so what I say to our investors is, I think the most appropriate question here is, when will there be an exit or liquidity event, as we call it? So shareholders in a startup like Coinstash typically get rewarded in a number of ways. So the first option, the possible outcome, is obviously being publicly listed. We have said many times in the past that a listing on the ASX is probably not a priority for the business right now. And the reason for that is obviously, one, there's going to be a very significant investment to be able to be listed on the ASX. Secondly, there are ongoing, compliance costs associated with being listed on the ASX. And I'm talking about listing fee in the range of 7 figures and then ongoing fees in the range of 6 figures, right? However, having said that, ASX is not the only it's not the only exchange that companies, especially crypto companies, have gone to. We know there are exchanges overseas that have listed crypto-related businesses, and then which are also more friendly for crypto businesses to list on. The second, possibility when it comes to a liquidity event is obviously a secondary sale. So right now, it is possible for, for the shares to be traded between investors, and this has happened before. The limitation, I guess, we're seeing is that it's not done very easily. It's not like there's an order book and you can just submit your order and that's filled in one day, like instantaneously or in one day. But that can happen. What I want to touch on is there are also possibilities of having what I call a trade sale. So, for example, if Coinstash starts to really hit our milestones of 100,000 users, meaningful $1 million revenue, etc., then a trade sale becomes a possibility. So we know in the industry, in the past, there are some global exchanges in the past that has acquired local players in Australia. So that's a real possibility there. In addition to that, I mean, even if none of this happened for a business, if the business is profitable, then there might be dividends or share buyback. But that depends, I guess, on the profitability and the growth plans of the business. So yeah, those are the 4 options that's out there.
Fantastic. Sorry, Matt.
And I guess just touching on that is one thing to say as well. On like, we are looking at a lot of different ways, or we can enable the investors to exit if they would like to. Like, on top of that, of what Ting has mentioned, those are a lot of the ways that you can do it. There's more to that as well, but that's more to come later on. Like, we do have a very strong mindset to the whole purpose of an investor is to make money, which is without a doubt what we are looking to do for the investors, without a doubt. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, look, thank you very much, everyone who's attended here today, and thank you very much to the Coinstash team for such incredible answers and such a thorough presentation. I'd love to hand over to you to say any final sort of closing words in terms of the webinar before we wrap up today.
Yeah, thanks, Robin. I think, just to, as some closing remarks, I would like to say thank you to everyone, for expressing your interest in Coinstash. We very much look forward to you guys. If you have any more questions, feel free to reach out to me personally. And very much look forward to having you guys on board if you do decide to invest. Lastly is make sure if you like our presentation, if you like our business, make sure you spread the word. You might know some family or friends that are interested in cryptocurrency as well. And then it doesn't hurt to present this opportunity to them. Yeah, that's it. Thank you, everyone.
Fantastic. Thanks very much, everyone. And I'll follow up with you soon. I'll provide the recording with you, and I'll also provide some details if you haven't had a chance to express interest to invest just yet. So thank you very much for attending, everybody. We'll see you soon.
thank you very much.
Bye.
See ya.